In our world today, information moves so fast it's almost instantaneous. But have you ever stopped to think about what happens when that information is flat out wrong? Well, it turns out that a single lie, just one piece of bad data, can have absolutely staggering financial consequences. We're talking about the power to destabilize entire markets in just a few minutes. Today, we're going to get into a really fascinating report about why truth itself might be one of the most valuable and, frankly, most vulnerable assets in all of global finance.
All right, so to really get our heads around this, let's jump straight into a real-world story that just perfectly sets the stage. We're rewinding the clock to April 2013, to a single event that showed everyone just how much firepower misinformation really has.
So just imagine for a second, this message flashes across your phone. And it's not from some random account. It's from the Associated Press, one of the most trusted news sources on the entire planet. For a few absolutely terrifying moments, the world thought this was real. The source felt legit, the news was horrific, and the market's reaction, it was immediate and it was brutal.
$136 billion. That's not a typo. In just a handful of minutes between that fake tweet going live and the truth finally coming out, that is the estimated value that was just erased from the S&P 500. An incredible amount of money, gone in less time than it takes to make a cup of coffee.
Now sure, the market bounced back pretty quickly once everyone realized it was a hoax, but that's not really the point, is it? This whole thing was a massive wake-up call. It was proof positive that in this age of high-speed trading and instant news, the integrity of information isn't just some nice-to-have idea, it is absolutely essential for market stability.
So this is where it gets really interesting. The report starts to frame this whole problem in a new way. It asks us to stop thinking about truth as just, a moral virtue, and start seeing it as a critical piece of infrastructure, something our entire economy literally cannot function without.
Economists have this term public good. Think about something like clean air, right? We all benefit from it, and me breathing it doesn't stop you from breathing it. Well, the argument here is that reliable, verifiable information works the exact same way. We all need a shared baseline of facts to operate, and we all benefit when it's there.
And this image just makes it all click. It's a perfect analogy. We need roads and bridges for goods to move around, right? Well, in the same way, we need a shared understanding of reality for markets to work. When you can't trust what a company is reporting, or the economic data, or even the news, the entire system starts to seize up. Trust vanishes, and everything just stops.
And here's the thing, that AP hack, that was just the beginning, a preview of what was to come. Since then, this problem has just gotten bigger, faster, and way more complicated. It feels like we've entered a totally new era, one where the story about a stock can be way more powerful than the actual numbers behind it.
And is there any better example than the whole GameStop saga from 2021? I mean, this chart says everything. That massive spike you're seeing, that wasn't because of some game-changing new product or blockbuster profits. Nope, that was driven almost entirely by a viral story that caught fire in online communities. This table really lays out the battle, doesn't it? On one side, you have all the traditional things that are supposed to determine value, but on the other, you have the forces that actually moved the price: meme culture, social media momentum, and this powerful us versus them story. The narrative just steamrolled the fundamentals, and it put a huge amount of stress on the basic plumbing of the market. And then, just last year, we saw the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank. This was a textbook bank run, but it was a bank run on digital steroids. Rumors about the bank's health just exploded across social media and private chats. It created this terrifying feedback loop of fear, and it turned what might have been a manageable problem into a full-blown crisis in a matter of hours, not days.
So the main takeaway here is pretty clear, right? These are not just one-off freaky incidents. They're part of a dangerous new pattern. Misinformation, whether it's a deliberate hack, a viral story, or a panicked rumor, is now a direct and systematic risk to the entire financial system. It's a feature, not a bug.
Okay, so if the system we have is failing, what's the fix? Well, the report says we can't just keep playing defense, patching holes as they appear. We actually have to get proactive. We have to build something new, what they call a truth infrastructure. And the solution isn't some single magic bullet. It's a really comprehensive plan, built on these 4 interconnected pillars. And the goal of all of them is to weave verification and resilience right into the fabric of how we create and consume information.
And this diagram really shows you how it all has to fit together. You've got technology to give us the tools to check facts, regulation to create clear rules of the road, financial literacy to make us all smarter consumers of information, and trusted data services that could provide market-based solutions. The key here, and this is so important, is that none of these work in a vacuum. They all have to support each other.
Which brings us to the real bottom line of this entire analysis. This is the big so what. This is why this isn't just some abstract academic debate, but something that's urgent and practical for literally everyone involved in the economy.
At the end of the day, protecting the integrity of information is about so much more than just stopping fake news. It's about protecting the absolute foundation of trust that makes our markets and really our society work. It's the ultimate way to manage risk, because if you lose that trust, everything else starts to crumble.
And so that leaves us with one final, pretty heavy question to think about. In a world with generative AI that can create incredibly convincing fakes, where viral narratives can change reality, whose job is it to build and maintain this truth infrastructure? Is it up to governments, the tech giants, or is this a responsibility that, somehow, we all have to share?